Hello everyone. So as you remember, we have learned lots of things in last part. So now here we have added is element present to make it faster. So we are good to go. Now one thing is like if you go back from here, so here you can see the breakpoint side. In the breakpoint side, in the right side, there is on breakpoint. We don't need it anymore, and as we have configured the Excel, or we have configured the test, not Excel, I mean we have configured the tests, so we don't need it anymore. Now today, first thing, what are we going to learn? First of all, we're going to learn today like efficiency of step definition, actually increasing the efficiency of a step definition, increasing the efficiency of a step definition. It means not overload the step definition with lots of similar methods, and then we're gonna learn efficiency of XPath. There again, not overload. Overload means not load up with the same types of XPath again and again. Overload with same types of XPath again and again. Okay, so now let's start. So we can see that here, if you closely look at this to a step, right? So if you just change this string, you are passing a string here, right? User ID and password input. These are the expected result in our manual test. If you look here, we are checking this input variables only. Now, two things. The steps is exactly same. If you just forget about this, okay? If you just forget about this like this, okay? Verify dash is available, verify is available, right? So both of the step is exactly same. And second thing, if they are not same but you can make them same, make them exactly similar. So the actual step is verify string. This is a string, right? You are passing here string. Here also you are passing a string, correct? Verify this string is visible. Both the step is exactly same. Now let's go to our cucumber framework. So now you can see there are two steps, and for these two steps we have these two different step definition method, right? And if it keeps going, maybe there are 100 button in home page, we have to create 100 methods. So it is definitely not efficient, right? So how can we increase the efficiency? That's what we're gonna learn today. First of all, we're gonna learn the efficiency of step definition. Then we are going to learn efficiency of page object model. So very less and clean class with less method that is easily maintainable, okay, for similar kinds of items. Let's do it. First of all, let's make them similar. Let's convert this to string. Okay. Here also we can convert it to string. Save it. Now you see that the steps are not present. Why? Because the pattern has been changed. So the easiest way is to fix these kinds of thing is like here it is a string. So now when it is green, it doesn't mean anymore like what you inserted here is just a string. Your Java is not reading user ID, your Java is not reading password input. You can add hundreds of like that. So how will you change it? So we know both of these methods are exactly similar like this, but it doesn't. It has user ID, it has password input. Let's change it. So instead of user ID, now we are passing string, right? So remove user ID from here, open and close, and a smaller string. That is not a class. That is just a type of variable here you are defining. That is a smaller s. And here you have to pass the class here you have to write it in a capital in the input parameter. So you are taking it string, and what is this? Value from feature. Okay, or you can more specifically, you can write a string. It's a variable name, string value from feature file. Okay, okay, string value from feature, for example. Okay, now if you save here, if you click on save, but if you click on save button, let's see what happens. Save all in the top right, you can see that it has gone now, right? The errors are gone. Why? You have edited here. Why this error is gone too? Look very carefully. The reason that went as well is because now what your code is thinking is just a string. It is also a string, right? So exactly matching with this one, verify string is visible. So both of these test step is uh, pointing to this method now. There is no purpose of this method now here. You can remove it. Nothing is performing or pointing this. So remove this one. Save it. So you're good. Okay. Now we removed that method. So now we know everything is coming up from the same place, from that one place, from that one method here. This one, right? String. Now how it works. So this user ID will be placed here. Once it placed here, you are placing, you are taking it here, right? Now here it is a string. Now if you put integer value here, you have to use like direct number. That will be, you can do the same thing. You can put int here instead of a string, and you can put int here instead of a string, and then you can put the variable value like integer value, whatever you want. Anything you can control from this. So till this part you understand, hopefully. So now how will we handle it? So we had two different situations, two different methods, right? One was for user ID, one was for password input. Now we removed that method. uh, so how will we handle both situation with this? Okay, so now we remove the password one, right? So let me bring that up here again. So we will remove it definitely, but after configuring this one, okay, instead of two of this method. So now what will happen if this value is user ID? We want to perform this method. User ID is visible, or this soft asset is working fine or not, right? But if it is password, I mean, if it is this one, password input, right? If it is this one, then we want to execute this part. So what should we do now? Now we can use if else basically, right? So if this value dot equals, we know user ID, this one, right? Dot equals user ID, then perform this stuff, log our info, everything that we did before here. Else if, you can use 100 conditions like this. Else if I mean, everything will be same actually. If this one is this password input field, then what do we need to do? Then we need to perform these actions. Copy everything from here or cut. We can put them here. So both of the assertion will take place here. Oh, okay. It is not else. We have to use else if. Okay. Now this is the ideal way we can do. We can do tons of this like this. But this if else, we can use if else for a smaller situation, but there can be 100 buttons like this. There is more professional way than this to do it. So what is that? So instead of if else we can use switch case. So same thing, if else is more bigger, you are putting a condition everywhere, lots of equations, conditions you can put. But switch case is very easy formula. You don't, so we use switch case where we want to switch things only with a variable value. If we'll give you flexibility for different kinds of conditions, equals, lots of things, but switch is simple. And now we are handling it in a simple way. We are just switching by variable value. So now I'm gonna use switch case here, switch switch. And if you use switch case, just hold on it, click on that. I mean, if you control a space, if you click control a space, there are lots of expression, a statement, labeled a statement, right? You can put anything. So a statement should be good in our case. And default value is like, if nothing matches, something will run by default. Okay, like finally block, similar to finally block. So there is no default in our case right now. Again, I'm saying default is important when nothing matches. Okay, let's keep default. I will give you an example on this. So now it will switch by this key, right? It will switch by this key or this variable. Now if the variable value case, here in the case you have to put if it is user id. Okay, if the value is string, sorry, if the value is string user id, then do this job, right? Close, paste it, and then break. Definitely you have to break the case once you start a case. Okay, all these things. And then similarly another case you can start, case simple, one colon, oh not colon actually, case space, then you put the next one, password input. If it is password input, then there will be a colon, semicolon, not semicolon, colon. So now copy all the content again, I mean cut, case this one, pass, paste. Otherwise default value, I'm just by default I'm printing no code is printing. Oh, no value matched. Okay. Okay, one thing I forgot to change, it has to be regular one. Okay, now uh, we can remove this method. We don't need this anymore. So did I remove? Okay, here is the method. Yeah, we can remove this. Okay, and what is to say? Okay, syntax error. Okay, this if else also we can remove. We need this and this one. Okay, I think another one is required. Control Shift F to see which one is for which one. This one is for the method and this one is for the class. Oh, okay, so I removed the class braces as well. Now according to the note that we had in the, we kept this note in the helper document, right? There we see that after okay, then after adding more loggers and action methods, we do soft assertion. So we do debugging to confirm everything is working. These all things are already done, right, from the previous part. So now we need to make sure this is working perfectly for both of our situations and doing the soft assert perfectly. So to justify that, again we need to do debug. First of all, we will run this and make sure it is working perfectly fine. So copying the tag, then going to our runner class, pasting the tag here, Control C, remove this. Okay, one thing, very important, remove the spaces. It has to be exactly, I by mistake I copied the space as well, but if you give the space it will not run. It is a single string, so no space is allowed here. That is another point. And what we learned for this step definition, quick note: switch case only be used when there will be situations such as or there will be situations such as one variable. But if else will be used for complex situation like two variables, three variables, multiple conditions. So for only one variable, string variable, we can have this. Now how will we do it? Let's make sure it's working properly. So first of all, double click on line number 27 to start with the breakpoint. First of all, we're going to validate this one. We copied this tag. Now if you give a smoke tag, it will run both of these test cases because the smoke is present in both of these test cases. So I copied this one, I pasted that one here, and now I'm gonna run, right click on it, not run as, debug as JUnit. Now, okay, it will run now. Okay, now it executed, browser opened, it is here, and it is stopped here. Verify. It already came into the user ID. That means it is working for user ID. So actually we could add the breakpoint here in line number 24, but by mistake I added here. So actually we're supposed to start. We should have a start from line number 24. But however, it worked. So let me do that. Let me stop it. For stopping it, you can click on red button, and then let me do it from here, and let me remove this one. Now let me go to the runner class, run it again. Not, I mean debug it again. Let's start from the beginning line. Super. Now it is stopped here. Now it already executed this line, right? It executed this line, then it came here. So now if you hover over here, you can see the value. It took user ID. User ID is this one, right? Now we put the value here. Now it will come match with this one, but it won't match with this one. The case. So if you see switch case value, user ID. Now if I click on next, it went inside this. Otherwise it would have went inside this if nothing used to match. So first test, it came in a step over. I mean this is a built-in method. I don't want to go and check anything there. This is coming from that homepage method. This method you called, it is not a built-in method. We can go inside, but we already checked it when we automated that before. So I have nothing to check it now. So clicking on next, step over. It is executing. Now hover over on it has returned true. Then again step next. Here is the assertion. Look at the console too when you are moving forward. Log assertion has been printed, no failure so far. Now doing the soft assert, again a step over. So what happened here just now, if you see, it just first called the soft assert, got everything. Now it will do the actual soft assertion. It took the true and had the condition, assert passed. It printed the pass message, right? Now break. Now let's make sure it is not getting into password input. Clicking on that. Cool. It is not, it didn't went to this case, it didn't came to default case as well. So everything is working fine perfectly with this one. Now we can click on this run button to complete it or red button to stop it. We are happy when we saw that a code is working fine. Now let's try for this to password field. Is it passing for password field? Let's try this. Control save, then right click, then again we will start from the same place from this line to make sure everything is working perfectly fine. So right click, debug as JUnit. Let's see what happens. I mean you don't need to travel to the class, it will automatically stop there. Even if you are here, it will automatically stop in the proper place. Everything is working fine. Yeah, it is stopped here. Now see, the value is password input, right? This is coming from here. So now it didn't go inside this. It went to this. Again a step over. Again a step over because I already executed those before. Now look at the console. Make sure nothing is failing. So now assertion done. Printed, right? Now in the soft assert, done. Now here it did you see any problem? I intentionally created it for you guys. I see a problem. It printed no value matched as well from this line, but it was not supposed to be print. I mean, it was not supposed to be printed. Now here is the issue number one. Who can tell me what is the issue? The issue is you didn't break the case. I mean, we didn't break the case. We have to break the case. That's why we do debug. If I wouldn't debug it, I could not catch this problem. I was debugging, clicking on a step over, looking at the console at the same time. Then I found that after passing, it is saying that no value match. What the hell? It's supposed to be printed when there will be no value matched with this string or with the feature file with the cases. So now it is a wrong thing happened, right? So that's how you need to fix your code. So we need to put break here. Let's put break, break, break. Okay, so once everything is done, we have to break the code, stop it. Now again execute. Now you can click on if you're different page, if you're in different page, you can click on that and click on the exact runner class that you are running. So I'm running this smaller EAL runner, so I did that. Now let's see again. Okay, now it stopped here. Now giving on a step over, again going till that part. You can put a breakpoint here because you know that problem is in after this line. Instead of giving this a step over, we can actually give a breakpoint here. Click on run button, it will execute everything and stop here. So one breakpoint to another breakpoint. We could avoid clicking a step over so many times when we know that the code is fine till that part. Now here is the issue, right? So let's see. Now if it goes to the default, now it is kept default. You see? Now we fixed our code. That's why by debugging, you make sure you didn't do any mistake. So again, now again, what I was saying, okay, now again, you have to see, now let me make you understand about the button that I just told, right? This is this run, avoiding a step over. I'm again stopping it, clicking on this debug mode, running it as a debugger, breakpoint. Now, when I know that all these codes are good, the problem is here, like this linkage, right? We can avoid checking them again by a step over, a step over. A step over means you are checking that this line is properly executing or not. What is happening after this condition? We already did that. So now efficiency, we don't want to consume time on these kinds of situations. So click on a step run. We are now in this place. Okay, so we are good here. So now again a step over. So you see it escaped and stopped in the next breakpoint. Okay, so now break it from here, and now you're gonna see a step over. Now perfectly fine, it is not going into this part, it came to the end of the test case. So that's how you know that we didn't mess up anything and assert passed perfectly, everything is fine. Now you can click on this resume or stop it for now because we know that this test case has been completed. So this is the part of increasing the efficiency of your step definition. Avoid creating multiple step definition. Now we will check the efficiency. We will increase the efficiency of assertion. Okay. Now we avoided. Now we solve the issue of where we are using multiple soft assert, multiple step definition. Now you will avoid using multiple soft assert. We will use only one soft assert for one type of step definition. The step definition type is same. We can use only one soft assert for that. Okay, cool. Now how are we going to increase the efficiency of that soft assertion or these kinds of extra methods. So this one, whatever we are repeating in every case, we can minimize that. So we are repeating it 2 times, instead that we want to repeat it 1 time. So where at first identify, I mean, we should insert it directly inside this bracket. There can be lots of if else, whatever, try catch, whatever you want, but just double click on this method's body. Just before it closes, we're gonna copy that soft as any of them. Okay, and then remove them for, okay, keep it here for now. Now first thing, so this is a condition, right? As a true, this is a boolean value simply. So what if you want to control it by any of these values? Let me give you a trick. First of all, forget everything what is here inside. In any method, forget everything. If you want to change something here, you can definitely control it from this, but at first you need to initiate a same local variable inside the method outside of everything, because it is outside of everything. In the same level outside of everything, you can create a local variable here first, and that will be with a false value. For the boolean case it is false. For a string you can initiate it with blank value, right? So boolean, we can say like test case or test status. Okay, not test status, let's write validation status equal to, we will create it with false. Now, so this is the condition, right? We're gonna put it here. Now this condition, we will change it in such a way that if user ID visible, it will be true. If it is not visible, it will be false. Similarly, if it is true, password text, if it is true, it will be true. If it is false, it will be false. In that way, assertion will be perfect. Now, so another part is password text is visible. Every time we are putting the name of this field, the field that we are passing from here, which will actually make sense, right? So instead of this, because we cannot put it user ID here, because if password becomes true, it will change. Now, okay, at first see that we initiated it as false. Now it is the value here is false. How it becomes true when it is true, right? It is just a variable, local variable, not a static variable. We can change the value anywhere, right? So now whatever value we are going to get for this case, right, we are going to change it here. For example, this one, validation status, right? Copy it, paste it, is equal to the one that we got now, right? Same thing here too for the password field also. Now we're gonna change it here too. Control C, Control V. So now what happens if it is user ID, okay, the value is user ID, it will go to this case, it will read the log, then it will run this method, make it true or false. Once it is true, we are assigning this value to here. If it is true, it will change from false to true. You are updating the value. Then it will not jump in this case, definitely. It will not jump in this case either. It will come here. It will find it true because it is the new value of this is true, and it will print this. Now, for user ID, it is fine. But for password, do you want to print the same text? There were maybe 100 fields. Do you want to print the same text? No. So what part is changing here? Only this field value. So we can make it little bit dynamic. Create a space here. We know the value is coming here, right? User ID or password or whatever it is. Just put it here. It is a string. User plus, you are adding a string, right? A string plus a string. Okay, you learned it in the first class. So string plus string, and same here, user ID, remove user ID, string plus string. Perfect. Now we don't, do we need this thing anymore? This assertion, we don't need it anymore now. Make sure both of the case has breaks. Now you can press Ctrl S and Ctrl Shift F to make them organized. They are organized now. Now test, right? Again debug and test that all the code in implementation is working properly. So we are here. Let's start with password field now. If password works, definitely user ID will work. Debug as JUnit test. Let's see. Our breakpoint is now in. Okay, one thing. So when you are doing a new debug, just a second, guys. Okay. So what I was saying is like now for testing purpose, we have to remove first all breakpoints, all breakpoints. Make sure you make this part always clean. We don't, nobody likes extra breakpoints in the project. Whatever you use, just add that one. So I'm gonna start breaking it down from here. So again now, let's try with this one now. So running in debug mode to make sure it is working as we have given things here. Okay, it stopped here and we got the value here as password input, right? Now let's go a step over. Okay, it is currently false. Okay, now we jumped into the password input. See this case, right? It didn't log into this one. I mean, definitely when you will work in real time project, definitely you have to, not real time. I mean, whenever you are working for any other test cases, you have to validate for both case. For this test, are they working properly? Otherwise, every single mistake can cause very big issue. Okay. Now, step next. Now it will go and run the same thing. I didn't give a step into because I know what's gonna happen. Now it is true. Now let's see. Currently, if you hover over here, it is false. It is true. Now we didn't assign the value yet. Once we execute this line, now the value turned into true. But don't think it is gonna turn true. Yeah, I mean, don't think it will turn out when it is green, right? So it will, once you execute it, it is becoming true. Once it becomes true, it will be true as well. You see, it already, when you assign this, it went there, it made it true and came back. Okay, now step over. Now it came to assertion. Now see what happens. Now you see validation status is true because that was true. So now it will print from this line. Look at the console, password input, right? This one, this part. Password input text is visible in the screen. If it would fail, then it will print the password input text is not visible in the screen. Same thing you can test for user ID and so many things. So that is for assertion validation. We have to make assertion in such a way that it, so two things here, again reminder or recall. We have, first of all, we have to create this assertion outside of anything but inside the main method. So how to track it? Find the last braces, just above that add your assertion and log to make sure it is there, it is not inside anything. Second thing, again mark it. So assertion variable, the variable that you need to change, alter, right? It has to be created inside the method, outside of everything at the beginning. So variable will be at the beginning, this will be at the ending. And then you can change this variable value anywhere for any condition and put that as status. So that is efficiency of assertion or avoiding reduplicating assertion. Now we have learned how to make a step definition efficient. Now, can anybody tell me when we will use switch and when we will use if else? Switch will be used when there is only one variable. I mean, the test will depend on one variable or it will change from one variable. Now, if I would have integer here with this, then I couldn't use switch case. I had to use if else at this point of time. If, else if, else if, else if, because there can be multiple conditions here, right? So that is a usual case. Yeah. So now I mean, in switch case also you can do that with comma, but that's what we not always do. Now go to, now we are gonna learn about make page object model efficient. So when we will learn page object model efficiency and XPath efficiency, this is very important. XPath efficiency, this is a very important topic that we are going to learn today. Too much important. It can be implemented in anywhere like Selenium, Cucumber, TestNG, data driven, keyword driven. This is very important. So we're gonna do that too. Now we have these two methods. We can merge them into a single one. If we do that, efficiency test or efficiency implementation. Now, to make it a bit efficient, the XPath, so what we can do, so two things. One is how we are going to manipulate XPath, or how we are going to how we are going to make one XPath out of this 100 XPath. I mean, there can be hundreds of XPaths similarly for 100 elements. For example, take a look at it. Here, the XPath, this is the XPath for user ID, right? Okay. By intentionally, we just made it IDs. For example, this is ID. Okay. So and then here it is password. So everything is same except this particular word, this particular text, right? If you withdraw it, or if you can manipulate this only one XPath and change the values of that particular part, you can control all of these values. For example, it can be, so there it is user ID, here it is password, right? Now let me do one thing. Now if you inspect and you see, Control Shift C, I can click, and Control F. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys so that you can see. So I'm giving the XPath here. Now it is user ID, it is getting this element. If I change it with this password, right, so it will be turning into password. So that's how, by changing only one word, we can control. Here we can control two, but in somewhere we can control lots of XPaths. Now let me give you an example of these two. For example, I'm inspecting this one. Here it is not text, it is something called value. So that one you cannot change. So the XPath, everything has to be same except this particular part. So here with this formation we can control one XPath. So for that we have two types of methods. One is string manipulation. I mean, two types of string manipulation method. Let me make you understand that one first. I'm writing down here for now. So for example, you have a string called, or okay, take an example of this one also. So this is string right here. So let me create a section here, string controllable methods, I mean XPaths. Okay, so these two XPath, right? For these two XPaths, I'm creating two string. So one string, I mean user text, these ones. So for that I know I can control UI text elements, right? So string home page, only for home page maybe, or different page also possible, but this is a home page object model. UI text contained elements, for example, is equal to, I'm pasting the XPath for now, any XPath. For example, this one, it's a string. Forget about XPath, now think it as a string. Now this password will be changed or modified. Here we can write %s. It is a regex, %s, never forget that. And you can how you will manipulate it? You can manipulate it by putting the value with comma and a method called string.format. Let's see that how we're gonna control it. So First of all, let's create a method. We are not going to use these methods, right? Because now, okay, this is homepage title, that is a different one. So there are two methods. To make it more efficient, we are going to make or convert them into one. So let's create a copy of this one first. Okay, so this one, right? Now here user ID is visible. So instead of user ID, what we can write, verify homepage text element is visible. Okay, now it can be any element, one element we are going to verify, right? So that's why I didn't write elements. Okay, now so from so how the manipulation will take place, I know we are going to, so we have given this actual element ID here. I have given a wrong name. Make sure you give the correct text here. So from here we are taking it here, right? We are taking it in our step definition, right? From our step definition we are putting it here. From here we are calling these methods. When we are calling these methods, we can send this element to this method, and that element can come to specific this method, right? So let's do this to send it. So look it carefully. So to control the XPath, to put the values here, right? To put the string values here, I mean user ID, password, whatever text you're gonna use, you have to put it, you have to use it in page object models action methods, right? To bring them in action methods, we have to send it from here, from step definition. How you can send? Again, input parameter. Here we declare, when we call it, we pass the value. So we are going to pass the value here. So it will be a string, right? That we're gonna put here simply. So what will be that string? It is like string home page UI element string. Okay, you can put this, or element text, you can put string element text, you can put whatever you want. It is just a text file, a text thing. So now we are going to call this method from here. Let's pass this first. So user ID, right? So here is the method. Here we are doing, we are calling it for user ID. So here we can call it here. Now it is giving an error saying, if you hover over here, you can clearly see here that homepage is visible string. Okay, so now if you hover over here, you can see add argument to, I mean it has to, we have to pass a string. Now if you right click at the end and press control space, you can see what we are passing here, string element text. We know the element text is user ID. Now that's what we are verifying, right? So not, we don't want to put user ID, we are bringing it in this variable string value from feature, right? We can directly pass it. The value of this is like user ID, we know that, right? From here you can see it is coming from here to here, here to here, here to here. Now we are passing user ID. If it is a password, we will pass password to the same way. Now we don't need this both method. Okay, just passing it simply here too, same method. When okay, so it is, I don't know, it is running. Okay, it is throwing error because we didn't save all, we didn't save this class. Make sure you click on this save all button. So save all, it will be resolved, they resolved. Now when it will be password will be passed here, password will be here. Till now we have confirmed that we have modified, password will come here. Now how I'm going to use this element text to change the XPath here? So now What is it? By.xpath, definitely, right? This one. Okay. So by.xpath. That part will also not change, but this is just a string. And we stored this variable. We stored this variable in a string. So we can put it here and then we can manipulate this string. So what we need to do? Simply is, okay, well, which one we created? This one, right? So by.xpath, why are we putting by here? Because in this method accepts by, and we are passing by locator there. So now we are converting this inner part as a by locator, and this is the element text string. But we cannot send this, I mean we cannot use this directly because it has percentage, right? So to manipulate this element text string, what we can do, we have a built-in method called string.format. So remove it. So at first you can try to print it here. So let me write logger.info, for example. You can print it here if you want to see or if you want to check before you locate the element in the UI. So this is the XPath. So what is the method to manipulate? It's called a string. Okay, string dot format. Okay, so now if you see, the format is here and the objects and arguments are here. So now you can use multiple arguments like this. Okay, so I'm using this first one because I'm manipulating only one argument. Simple. So that text, and the text will be replaced by what? The text will be replaced by this element text, right? User ID, sometimes it will be password. It can be so many things. Okay, so here it is element text. Okay, this element text, no, we should not have element text here. We should have this one. This string we are going to manipulate, right? So this string we are going to manipulate with element text. So what will happen? In this XPath, in this string, whatever you add with comma, right, they will replace in %s. %s means regex. So that's why we want to print it to see whether it is really working or not. And here you can, you can store it here. You can pass it as by locator, store as by locator. It's up to you. But now I'm okay. I can pass directly this one. Okay. Sorry, this text, this string part, this is even after format, the whole part will be a string, or you can store it in a string locator. You can handle it multiple way. I'm just doing it right now for quick access. Even though if you don't want, you can control this one also. For example, by, okay, this one you are changing, you can change that to user ID text by, right? So you can change that too, but actually we are not going to use this anymore, right? Because we are using this manipulation method. So I am using this one. To make it more shorter, what you can do, you can make a store it as a string formatted XPath of UI element is equal to this one, right? You can use this. Okay, so then you can print this formatted XPath of UI element here. To see what is the element, you can do the same thing instead of string format here. So it's up to you how you can manage the variables. So now let's see if it is really working. So now you see, now if it works, we don't need this method if user ID is visible, and we don't need this method if password is visible. So we are making both of them. So we are removing them for now. Let's see if it is working. Only one method now. The class became more cleaner. We can handle 100 elements with this simple method. Now in the left side, let's see, here in this thing, okay, we can change this method. We haven't changed the method name. Verify user ID, verify home page text txt element is visible. Now from the feature file we are passing user ID and password. Make sure you pass the exact text from the UI, right? So let's do it. Now you can see verify presence of user ID. Instead of this one, I can write verify this of, what do you call it, string value from feature. Okay, then you can add another text like text space text. That means it will give you a clean print line with the ID. And same thing I can do it for here, same log, right, for the password. Cool. One thing, so all the candidates, I am giving you a step-by-step solution instead of doing everything correct together. So whatever I showed earlier, if I have shown how to minimize the method first time with by assertion, do 5 examples of that by your own to grab it in hand. Then it will be in your head. Once it will be in your brain, then do the customization of XPath. I mean, increase the efficiency by practicing them 5 times or 4 times. That will help you to understand it properly. Otherwise, everything will go beyond your head. So pause the video, do whatever I did for 5 different elements. The XPath might not be text XPath. They can be different XPath. They can be different part. But make sure if the XPath is correct, same, do it for all of them. If you can do it without seeing this video, that means you are learning it and you are understanding it. Okay. Now this one. Okay. So for here, everything is same. Now we call the same method, only this text is different. See, user ID is visible, password text is visible, everything is same. But let's go by user ID first again. So here, okay, password, right? Let's verify with password first. So let's run it. Okay, let me set a debug pointer or breakpoint. Okay, the breakpoint is already here. Let's see how it works. We're gonna see the changes in the page object model 2, how it works there. So debug, let me go here, debug as JUnit runner. Okay, now it paused here, a step over, and I can see to password, step over. Okay, it didn't come through. Perfect, because it is password input and it is password, so it is printing the default value. So let me close it, let me change it to password, and let me run it again. Okay, so save it. Now let me run it in debug mode again. Okay, now it has stopped again. Now stepping over next. Now it came inside password. Let's see what is printing it, what is printing here, what is getting printed. Okay, now it has printed this part, this line, where you have presence of password text, like a beautiful text. So this text part is coming from here. This value, this password is coming from here, and the rest of the item is coming from here. You can see the line number is 29. Present. Okay, you can see. Oh, okay, no, not from here, sorry, my bad. They're coming from here, here, and here, right? You can see line number 38 here and line number 38 here. Okay, so there's the beauty of log. Okay, now let's see what's happening inside here. Now I'm not going to put a step over because I know I have done some changes here, new things. I need to see everything is working perfectly or not. So I'm going into a step into, so that I can go to this method. It is calling this method here, right? Step into, it came here, right? You see in the right side. Okay, now we are going to check the string. So if you hover over, you can already see the XPath has been, you see the password has inserted here. However, in the string, actual string, it was percentage. It is replaced. Now we're gonna print it in the console. You see in the console it has printed here, home page POM, line number 68. So it got printed here. Now it's gonna check in the UI and come back. It checked. Now is it true or false? It is true. That means it found the XPath. It worked. So then that means it worked and everything will work perfectly fine. It will return true. It will come back here. It will come back here. It will break here. And it will do the assertion properly, perfectly fine. Now you can do the assertion or test with user ID too. So it worked perfectly fine. We are good. Now assertion has been printed. Now you see everything is working perfectly fine. Now the last efficient thing. So we already removed all those methods. We are handling all the dynamically all the elements, right, of home page in that way. At least all the elements which contains text we can handle in this way. We have with a single method. Okay. Now the next thing is, now let's increase step definition efficiency more. Do you see any difference in this two part now? Because we have changed so many things. So user ID is coming here. If it is user ID, it is setting, it is calling the same method. If it is password, it is calling the same method. It is printing the same log, no changes. So now the final efficiency we can do is like we can remove the switch case in this case now, right? So remove the switch case. No need to have any switch case, anything, and default, nothing. We can avoid using this. We can have now verify everything, okay, like that. Now you don't even need this. So you can remove, you can rename this as validation status, right? You don't require this because same thing is gonna return true. Now Control Shift F and it will be organized for you. Now see, the big method turned into a very small method. See? So how it works? Again, user ID. Okay, let me remove this. This user ID is coming to this string. Then it is coming to this string. Then it is going to this string and getting printed, right? For example, it is user ID. It is getting printed here. Then validation status. We are calling the same method from the home page and we are passing the variable here. Once we are passing the variable here, it is coming to this method. And in this method, it is modifying the XPath. So XPath is getting changed for different elements here, right? Once it is modifying the XPath, the presence of XPath, it is becoming true because it is going to check with this. And once it is true, it is going to return true here. And this will be true here. Once it is true, this validation status will be true and it will print the proper log. So see, this is called efficiency, a big method, complex steps, similar but with different values. We created, there can be 100 steps like that. Similarly, right? We created only one step definition and controlling all types of similar steps. And in the page object model too, we are controlling everything in a single step. Now for this one, here is %s. Again, I'm telling you guys, %s, you can use multiple percentage variable. For example, don't put %s everywhere. %s, if you have 3 changes there, right, you can pass 3 values directly from here. If you have 3 things to change, 3 things are changing for different XPath, and they are, all of them are different, then you have to use a different variable here. But if all of them are same, for example, one big XPath, You want to put user ID here, the next one also will be the user ID, third one will also be the user ID. Then use the same variable, I mean %s. If you want to use %s, use %s for all of them. But if they are not similar, for example, let me give you an example here with this. Let me create a copy of it. For example, td contains this one, okay, and at the rate, class is that one, and at the rate, okay, it will not be here, %, and at the rate class, for example, this is different one, user ID, and this one is password, right? You can use a different variable, that is %1, sorry, you can use $1 $s, okay, and then $2 $3 $4. So they individually has meanings, okay. Okay, so now here what person means starts with or the argument, and one means first, and dollar means argument. In a string format, dollar means argument, it means first argument. Then actually this percentage is like, actually you can do like this. Instead of percentage, when we will have multiple, we should not use percentage, we should use like this. Then we should use like this, here will be 2, okay, 2 types of variable, maybe user ID and password is getting used here. So you can, it's not like you can control only one thing, you can control hundreds, you can modify this XPath with 100 types of element. So yeah, this is very advanced and very easy, but very advanced thing that lots of people doesn't know. So you can control things like this too, okay. So take a note, write it down somewhere, very important. We will use it later on when we will see next phases, okay. So that's the most perfect efficiency example, efficiency increment example of step definition, page object model, and everything. Now your job will be testing out this method, everything by debugging with both types of test case. I mean, are they working for user ID, are they working for password? Make sure you check them, are they working for wrong ID? If you put wrong ID here which doesn't match with UI, what happens? Make sure you do that, okay. Then we are going to go to the next phase. Well, now let's do a quick recap on what we did exactly, right? So from now on, think like a professional. Let's start with login feature file. When we will write the test step, make sure we write them exactly similar. We have to think like a pro. We have to think like, if everything is same, only the variable value changes, we can create and handle only with one step definition file. Then in the step definition, we are going to create only one method like this. We are going to put a variable value and the variable type. We need to keep the name generic one. Generic means that can be meaned, or that can be mean for everything. We can mean it for every types of every variable values like user ID, password, right? A generic name. Then what we need to keep in mind that in page object model, we need to handle it with same thing. I mean, if the step definition is same, you can handle the same thing with same types of XPath, okay, same types of, I mean, with only one method from page object model. I mean, you can handle it quickly. And in the page object model, you have to take care of, you have to create a method which will be generic. You have to accept the element from here to here, right? And you have to create everything in such a way that your XPath and everything gets changed with the similar kinds of things. Now you can handle, or we can handle, lots of elements like this. And then finally the assertion. Make sure the assertion is dynamic too, right? Everything is dynamic. Now let's go for the next test case. As mentioned earlier, these are your similar types of assignment, and you definitely have to create this in the professional manner the way we did. If you can't, take help from AI and everything to know or to learn. Don't tell AI to do your method. If you do that, you cannot, you can definitely give us the assignment, but you cannot pass the interview. You cannot go to the job market. You cannot even pass the mock interview. We will catch it in one click if you do it with, I mean, if you do it from AI. But you can learn, you are allowed to learn from AI. Okay, I'm not able to understand this one, that one, you can learn from AI. You can ping us too. Okay. Okay, now we are going to do another one. Now we are going to start it with very professionalism or in a professional manner. So now we can see the test case name is verify login with invalid credentials. So manually let's execute it. We are going to put anything. Then here, now clicking on login, we should get this alert. So that is the step to perform. So what is the first step? Pass the user ID on the user field. Again, now question is, are we going to create this in the same feature file or in a different feature file? We are going to create it in the same feature file because that we are still in the same page. If the page is different, for example, now we are clicking this one, that time also it will be in the same feature file. But if the URL changes or page changes, if it is not the same page, then definitely you have to create the test cases in a different feature file. For every page, there will be a separate feature file and separate page object model. Remember that. Okay, so now let's try this. So we are going to open our Eclipse. Okay, now fresh start. I closed everything. You can close every tab by Ctrl Shift W. W means window. Everything will be closed. Now let's start with our feature file. So this one. Okay, now so let me create them quickly. So first of all, I know here test case 3 and 4 is your assignment. So I have to write it here as a note. Hash TC03 and TC04 is assignment. So it can be anything in your real-time work. It can be like it is not automatable. It can be any note, but make sure you maintain this sequence. Right click, pretty format. Okay. My bad, I lost. Okay. You can skip pretty format though, it is hiding the comments, I don't know why. Okay, let's go forward. Okay, I speeded up the window so that we can directly create from here. So this is the scenario name, so I'm copying it. Now pasted it here. So scenario, then a space, then pasted it here. Now the items here. So you see pass user ID on user field. So you can see all these test cases are same. One is with both invalid ID and password. Here is the test data. There is both one is valid and one is invalid. That is also verify with invalid credentials. I mean the scenario test case name is same. Here also with invalid user ID and valid credentials, and these are your assignment, kind of similar thing. So now all of them are same. So we need to make sure, we need to see that what is changing in these fields. Everything is same, right? Only the ID and password is getting changed. Remember that part. Okay, here only the ID and password is going to be changed. So let's copy this thing. Start thinking like a professional that what we did in these two, we have to do it from here, from now on itself. So pass user ID on user ID field. So user ID field, is the field name correct? Let's validate, because we have to think from now on. We can control the XPath with this variable here. So I mean, if you don't do the assignment of last part, please do it and come back. Then you will understand it better. Okay. So user ID, it is capital, right? So we are going to make it dynamic. So let's make it as a, let's put it inside a string. remove this one. Okay, and pass user ID. Now, okay, here I think I am going to change the test cases little bit for your help. Okay, let's give it like this for now. So user ID, that there also you will pass these values. But first at first let's build the test cases. Later we are going to pass the actual values here. Okay, user ID, it will be dynamic, and user field, it will also be dynamic. We will modify expert by this, and we will put the actual user ID or username here. Now the second one, pass password on the password field. That is also here, password is dynamic, right? So we will make it a string. Again, just make sure you check the field name with the UI. Okay, so first, in the first one we give given pass this one. Then, I mean, first step always starts with given. Pass user ID on this field, then do this. Okay, password field, and then click on login button. Okay, yeah, once you are clicking on login button, click on OK button. OK button means there was a alert opening right at the top saying like it is not a valid user ID. So if you put anything here, click on login. Once it comes, you have to click on OK button. Then the expected result is it will take you up to the home page again. So remember these expected results. So okay, so then the last one is my bad. So then click on the OK button. I'm writing then, and then everything copied from, click on the OK button from the alert. Actually, we should write from the alert here too. Okay, let me create it, let me make it perfect here. Okay, all right, now I already told you that we are going to modify this, but now then the second part of thinking like a professionalism. One is you identified the string here, that is the first thing you do. Second thing, make sure to increase the efficiency of step definition. See, only these variables are changed in this two step. Just think, I'm hiding this. Okay, this variable, this variable, this variable, both of them are string here also, and this one too. If I hide them, both of them are same, so we can store them definitely in the single step definition file, and both of these are also same. Okay button, this button, we can store them. I mean, here it is from alert, but here it is in login button. We can still store them in the same like same kind of step definition, but for now let's as it is alert, it is little bit different. They are not exactly same. Let's keep it different now. So now we can minimize it definitely, but if they are not same, try to make them same if possible. Now user ID and password field are located in the UI, exactly looks like same. Only by changing the ID like the previous one we can control them. So that's why we want to create one step definition file and a small method that will handle both of these steps. Okay, now there are two variable. Now if you save it, they will be orange color. So what you need to do, okay, we brought the step here. We have a step definition here. So now one thing, the step definition for user ID is the user ID must be filled up. So with your own eyes, when you are a real human, you can type and you can see they are filled, but your automation is blind. It will not be able to see, but you have to, as it is expected result, you have to verify it. So this is most of the common thing that lots of people doesn't know. So we are going to verify that too. So remember, every step should have expected result. If every step doesn't have expected result, that means what you are doing is you are doing wrong. Okay, now for this one, what we need to do, let's open it up. So we are going to open the runner class. So let me take the feature file in the right side. So the test case ID of this will be from the Excel test document. For example, we are going to try the first one, this one, right? TC00005. So I'm going to put at the rate TC00005 for now. And here also I want to run this TC00005. Now you can make monochrome false. We don't need to make it true all the time. It will give you a colorful look. And then make the dry run true, because I don't want to execute them, run them, fail them, open the browser. I don't need all of this. I just want to implement the step for now. So right click, run as JUnit test. So you're gonna see they will be executing. They have been failed. Now, okay, I think there is an issue. Okay, so I think there was a Eclipse issue. So now if I click on this same thing, JUnit runner, you can see that it is executing, and blue means the steps has not implemented yet, green means it is implemented. This is also means it is not implemented yet. It is for monochrome, as I made monochrome false. These are now colorful. Now in the JUnit I can see the unimplemented steps here. So click on this console icon, this is small icon again. So you can see now here. Now see, look carefully. So okay, you can see there are two methods created, and our plan is to merge them into one. But there's supposed to be one method created. It is created because maybe there is one extra space after this line or somewhere else. We are gonna find it out. I just copied directly now. Just copy pasted this one and change the values here. Let me execute now. So I copy pasted, I click run and run as this one, and now if you see, now there is one method created. So previously probably there was one space or something like that. So in these kinds of situation, we should copy paste the step and then edit the variable so that we can create this from here. Okay, now let's quickly copy this, because now for this four step we have three methods, because this two is pointing to this method directly, right? So let's copy them. Copy all of them. Let's go to the step definition. Double click on the method icon, go to the bottom. So this is the method. I have to paste it outside of this. Okay, remove all this inner thing, removed all of them. Then now again we have to create. So first save it, then you see once you click on save button, these orange color things will go. Now here we have to pass the user ID on user field, and here pass the password to password field. Now for this both situation, we can create one method in our page object model, which is our home page object model, right? So there are two strings. First let's modify this method from here. Okay, from here to here, modify them. So first string, which is this string, is this one. Okay. So first string we are passing value, right? Field value, this user ID, password, this will be the field value. We are going to actually type this. We are going to put the actual user ID, actual password in this place. So it is field value. Variable name starts with smaller letter, and here this one, the second one, is actual field text, or actually not field text, field name, right? Field, oh sorry, these are field name, my bad. Okay, right, field name and field value. Now in the right side we are going to open home page. Now we are going to create, let's create, go step by step. First of all we are going to resolve this one. Now from now on we have to think in such a way that it will handle both password, username of, or any kinds of field. So both of that thing we have to think from now on. Now let's go for the, let's copy an available method, or let's create one. So if you think here, first step will be pass the values in the field, right? So here, let me comment it out. Pass field values. We have to start from here. We have to create something like that. So I'm going to create these kinds of methods. So you're going to pass maybe username in username field, password in password field. So like that, I will create from here public void pass field value, and we are going to pass two things, right? These two things. Let's put them directly, copy them and paste them here so that I don't have to do these things double. We are going to use the same thing. So don't always copy paste things, but we are going to use these both of things here. That's why I pasted it here. Now user ID will come here, field name will also come here. So field name we will use for modifying X paths, right? And field we will use for send keys or something like that. So we need sorry, field value, yeah, we will use for send keys. That is not a X path, that is just a value or a string. So it will be a string like that. So first thing, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So until you come into this page, you can put a breakpoint here. You can see in which page you are. So basically I know, because before executing any step, the background will run and it will bring us to the home page again. So we will be in this home page right here. Now from here we need to click on it, then we need to pass the value. So basically we are waiting for the web page to load, and for every element we have the common method. Now we will start using our common method from this class. So first of all, locate the element. Now remember one thing, we want to control the XPath again. So you will use the format thing again. So controllable XPath, right? We had this. Now if you think that was locating our, I mean that is a copy of this XPath, right? Let's learn something now. Now look very carefully here. I am pressing Control Shift C. It opened this one and Control F. So this one was locating this text, and I know to change. So this field is located right after this text, right? If you look, yes, right after this text. So now if I want to control the whole fields, I'm creating only one method. So for password, for everything, it should control the next fields of that XPath. Or we need to control with the multiple fields with the same method. So how can we do it? Now to achieve it, to control multiple similar types of fields again, now see, this one is taking you here, right? Now look very carefully. I will try to find where the field is. This one is locating the user ID only, right? When I am clicking on this section here, it is highlighting this part here, right? Now just see, hover over here. If you hover down, if you hover on this TD, on this section, it is marking the whole thing, right? Okay, but it is expandable. If you see here, it is expandable. So expand it, and then if you go down, you can control the field, right? So yes, you can directly write XPath with it, but you cannot control it by user ID or password field value. So we are not going to directly write XPath for this. The efficiency is, and the professionalism is, how you can control it with only one XPath. So that one XPath we are going to write. See, first locate it, we already located. Now from here, how can we come here? you already learned XPath access. We are going to use XPath access. They are in the same level. That means they are siblings, following siblings, right? So I will use following sibling XPath. So now let's first come to this place, then we will go into this place. So slash following dash sibling. Okay, so following sibling, then double colon, right? Then what is the tag name? TD. It is one of one again. Okay, now you cannot stop here because it is not actual any element, it is a full block. Input field is always the fields are called as input, another one is label. Then this is a child, this one is the child. We can write child XPath, else we can just give a slash and add input tag, right? It immediately selected this one. Correct. Now if you see, when we are hovering here, it is highlighting here. That means it is corrected with this field. Now confirmation. Now confirm if you change the user ID to password, then it selects that field or not. Let's confirm it if it is controllable or not. So password. Okay, now see, you see, now it is getting this field. That means it is controllable by changing only this value. Correct? So let's copy this now. Control C. Let's go to our Eclipse. Again, string. Then you can put a variable name called like homepage underscore fields. Okay, that is also that is still a string. Okay, then XPath and close it. Now this, instead of this password, we are going to use %s because we are going to modify that. Okay, now come back to the method. So in this method, before we do anything, we have to first modify the XPath, right? Or modify the string. The string formatted underscore field. Now why it is formatted? When your item will be here field name will be username, it will come here as username, and that username has to be in the XPath, right, itself. So that's what we are going to do, is equal to string dot format. We already have that method. Now here remove the default value. So what will be here? Homepage fields, right? Homepage fields, and in this field you want to put what? Field name, actual field name, the one that we are going to pass from feature file. Correct? Done. So that is the string of yours. Now let's convert it directly to the web element. So web element, so that is the XPath, right? If you want, you can print the XPath here. Let's print it. Logger.info. Okay, this logger.info, we can type that. Okay, so now let's convert it to the web element directly. I'm not storing it separately because I am already controlling it from this one. So okay, so just write field, FIELD. Okay, so now driver dot find element, we know by dot XPath. This is the XPath we have given. This is the string, right? XPath is always a string. That is the string. That is the XPath. Okay, we are modifying it. We are just replacing the %s. Done. Now we have the click and draw. At first, before we do anything, we have to click on the field, right? So click and draw again. So before you do any step, make sure you use log always. That is the best practice. So I already pinned it, but just okay. So click and drop here. Clicking on fields. Now again, once you do it, again logger.info. After clicking, what we are going to do? We are going to pass the send keys, right? So passing value, which value we are going to pass? You can add we are going to pass the field value here, right? Username or whatever it is. We're going to pass that value. So now you can add send keys here. Okay, send key. You can do it. Or driver.send key is the actual method. My bad, not driver, I mean field value. It is actually field value dot send keys. So this field value is the username or password, whatever it is. Oh, okay, sorry, that was a string, right? We have to, that is not field value. Field value is the thing that we are going to pass. So in this field name, I mean this field, in this field we are going to pass the send key dot send keys. Then here we are going to pass the field value, correct? Now be careful here. This is the built-in method we are calling. So we are going to pass the field value. After that, the thing I said right before, in your eyes, when you type anything, when you fill up anything, you can see that it is filled up. But if the field is disabled, will you be able to fill up? No, right? Then how will you know it is filled up or not? You have to get the value of it again. So after filling up, we are going to put another log where we can write get the field value to make sure it is filled up properly. Here the field value means what we are meaning. We after filling it up, if it is actually filled up or not. Sometimes if it is a disabled field, you cannot fill up, right? That time it will return null value. So how will you get it? So field dot get attribute, and here you always need to press value. That is by default. It will work like a magic. So then you can do the assertion. For example, soft assert, right? Soft assert dot soft assert equals right? So now equals means, so here you can store it in a string actual value, okay, equal to this, and expected value. Oh, you're filling up this field value, right? This is your expected, you are passing it there. Okay, so here you can put a string. So if so here you can see how it works. String message actual expected, actual is this one, actual value, right? And your expected is field value, right? Just a sec, is it coming from our software set class? Void, yes, it is coming from our software set class. And here the message is field is filled up, right? Now, so for every field, any field we create here, we are going to do this validation. First of all, we are going to fill it up. Then we are going to get the value to make sure it is filled up. Then we are going to compare them. Okay? Then we're going to make sure that, okay, it is working fine. Now, start the debug point, breakpoint from here, or you can, if you want to test from here, you can do it here, from here too. Okay, but now we didn't call it. So now pass field, how the value from login will come to this page. From login, again I'm showing from login, user ID will go to this, and this user ID will go to this. This is the variable name will come here. This is the variable name will come here, and then it will fill up. I know you are thinking like, hey, the username is something else. Why are we putting user ID? That is just for testing purpose. We are going to put actual user ID here. But let's see if the architecture or structure is working fine or not. No copy. So again, it is coming from the same page object model. We are not going to create another page object model because they are still in the same page. Sorry, that should be home hm homepage pom dot pass field value, right? This one. Now here, here if you see, first one is the field value. We are passing the field value here, and second one is the field name. We are passing the field name here exactly as it is. Now we are calling it. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, soft assert. We did it here. Okay, here now. But usually we don't usually do soft assert here. Actually, so that is by mistake I have done it. So that is the action method. So we never do soft assert there. We do soft assert here. Okay. And in the action method, we always do try catch block. Of course, I forgot to do that too as well. So try, okay, put it inside the try block. Definitely that is a must. That is a big mistake. So, and the catch block, copy it and paste it here. Okay. And return. We are not returning anything now. So it's fine if we just print it, Control Shift F, everything will be well organized. Save. And okay, soft assert here, actual value. So we can get this actual value instead of here. We can just pass value from here, right? And the actual value we can actually get from here. So here, okay. Oh, so we don't have the field here, so we cannot directly get from here. That makes sense. Now, to get any field value which is filled up, you can do it directly from here. Now, can anybody tell me how we can achieve it? Okay, so we are getting the actual value here. Now it is not returning anything. So when you are filling up a field, you can get the actual field value in return of, I mean, now we are not returning anything, but we should return, right? So the actual value if it is filled up or not. So that is a string, right? And here we are going to return actual value, right? So this actual value is going to be returned here. Field name, okay. Yeah, and for catch block, what happens in the catch block? It will return false. Not false, return nothing, right? Okay, so that is not a string though. Oh, okay, that is a string. So why are we getting errors here? Field, oh, that is an error here. Okay, this one is perfectly fine. If it is not doing anything, it will return null. Okay, save it. Now here, actual, don't worry about if you see at the bottom, don't worry about this. If you solve the first one, The later one will automatically resolve. So this method is returning you the actual value as a string, because if you see this is returning a string. So string actual value equal to this one, right? Now we have the software cert actual value here, the given value field value here, and the field name is that one. So it should be resolved now. Click on save button and the error will go. So I just clicked on save button, the error has gone. Now let's see if it works fine or not. So breakpoint, let's start with breakpoint. I know we haven't implemented other step and we don't do it. Once we implement one step, we debug it, make sure it is perfectly created. So now let's do it. It is the same test case 05. Oh, make sure you make it false. I don't want to do any dry run. EAL run. I will execute it 2 times and I will show you how it looks in the UI too, right? So first let's debug it properly to see how things are going on. Now we see that it has been stopped here. Now I know this is the thing that we just created here, pass field, right? I want to see how it is working inside. So if you click on this, you see that the both of the thing has been come from feature file. But if you see one user is a smaller letter, the first one, that means this one starts with a smaller letter, this one starts with capital letter. Intentional I have done this because eventually we are going to put actual user ID here. So now should I give a step over or a step into? Definitely a step into, because I want to see how is it working. Now it came up to here. Okay, then now listen this debugging carefully. Now we are going to do some professional debugging to save some time. So now this is the format, right? I'm just clicking on a step over. You can hover over and see how the XPath looks like if it is replaced properly. Now you can see user ID is here. You can see user ID is here. That means it is already replaced it correctly in this line. As the variable is already there, without even execution, it is giving you the proper value. Sometimes if you don't execute this line, it will not give you value. It is giving now because the variable value already defined above. Okay, now go next. It was a logger. Immediately look at your console to make sure that it is working accordingly. Line number 82 home page. Number 82 home page POM, right? Perfect. So now web element. Let's see if it fails here or not. So driver.find element. It is going to try to find the field with that new XPath, right? You can copy the XPath from here. You can try with your browser with inspect to make sure that it is working perfectly fine. But I will try from here. It didn't fail. If it wouldn't find, it would fail. Now clicking on the field. So it printed, not clicked yet. Now with this method we will click and draw. Now if you look, you see it is drawing here with a red mark. It just flashed. Okay, so click and draw it is a common method, you already know. We don't use element.click driver.click because we already have a built-in method. I use that one. So click and draw. Now again passing the field value, right? I passed, so here pass the field value. It didn't fail either. That means it has been passed. You see it is passed, user ID there. Now getting the actual value. Now you are seeing here, right, that it is passed, but actually when automation will run from pipeline or in the back end, you won't be able to see what's going on. To make sure it is filled up, we are getting the actual value what is currently there. If you get this value, whatever is filled up here, it will come back. You will see now. Okay, we are here. Actual value is currently 0 because we didn't execute this method yet. A step over. This is a built-in method, right? Coming from this one. So I'm not giving a step into. I'm giving a step over, and it brought it. See, it brought user ID for you. Correct? So that is the way you check. You get the actual value. Now returning the actual value through here to this method in this value, right? the whole thing will be replaced by return value. So now returning that, it came here, you see. Now still it is not assigned, it just came back to this line. Now execute the next step, I mean go over. Now you can hover over and see that it is returned this actual value, right? It didn't go to catch block because it didn't fail, it worked perfectly fine. Now the soft assert, actual value is this one, field value that you provided is this one. That means it has filled up the value. This is our eyes, this is our automation engineers eyes. Now one thing, if I would have found any issues here, I would have put a breakpoint here and skipped the old breakpoint to tell that it is working perfectly fine. Now another thing, like soft assert, I don't, maybe it will fail here. If it fails, I have to again start debugging from here. Instead doing that, if you have debugged lots of steps, start moving breakpoint to forward. I mean, you could, so that you don't have to press a step over again, because you already understood this code. You don't need to do the same thing again. So put the breakpoint something like that. I mean, make it moving. So remove the old one and put the correct one. I mean the latest one. So now if you go to soft assert, see if it is passing. It is passed. Filled, filled, filled up correctly, perfectly. Now stop it. I'm stopping this, right? So now one thing, guys. So instead of this passing field value here, clicking and drawing is good. Here you are passing the field value directly and it is working because it is an acceptable field. It is an acceptable field in a sense. The field is not disabled. The field is clickable. The field is not like, uh, it is not hidden. So there might be different situations. As a tester, you need to validate. The field will not work properly. The field will be disabled. So how will you do this? In that case, this method will fail. To make it perfect, to make it proper, I have created a method that is safe send kiss. Safe send, if you write safe send, okay, should come. Okay, now it came, control space, safe send keys. If we use that, and so here, if you control space, I mean, if you press control space or if you hover, control space, okay, remove this, and you're gonna see what are we passing in, where it's automatically coming out. Okay, it's automatically coming out. So if you just click on save button, and if you click on this, you're gonna see, first of all, we are going to put the element, and second we are going to put the text. So yeah, now it is visible, web element and then text. So in the element, in which field? In the field is like this one, right? Field, it is correct. And the thing we are going to pass is the value. So you already went through this, I guess, when you did your assignment, but again explaining you. At first, it will not directly put the send key. At first, it will check if the element is enabled or not, if it is displayed or not. Two things. One is it is not disabled, one is it is not hidden. If it has something like that, it will throw a illegal exception. It is saying that it is disabled. If element is displayed, I mean, if it is not displayed, if it is not enabled, okay, so then it will do it. Otherwise, it will go and clear the field. Then, I mean, there can be some text written from previous execution. It will clear them. Then it will pass the send key. Then it will get the actual value. It will compare the actual value. I mean, that we are already comparing it in the assertion, but without doing that, it will automatically do it to make sure that your send key is working perfectly fine. Otherwise, it will fail there immediately, and you are safe. So that's the thing. We have a method. So instead of send keys, from now on, make sure you use these send keys as an official method. Now, uh, uh, if you don't find this, make sure you update your common method class, or I will push this branch into the master branch. So make sure you copy from that branch. Okay, so now again, now these things will be accurate after you save that. Again, we are getting the value here, we are returning the value from here to here, and then we are passing it. Now the same thing should work for this one too, right? Now let's make sure if it is working fine for this step as well. Now again, running it as a debug mode. Now see, first of all, it will stop for this field. See, now you will see it will fill up and do things. Okay, it is stopped in the soft assert, right? For user ID. Then again, if I want to stop, make a stop for this step, what should I do? Should I go do a step over? Should I do a step return? No, just run it. It will again go and complete everything, then again come back and stop here. Or you can put a breakpoint here actually. So instead of doing this, you can put a, or you can yeah, you can put a breakpoint there to make sure it is working perfectly for password. So again, run it. It will come back and stopped here. Now see what is the value it is working with: field name, password, right? Similarly for the second field, it is stopped here. If you again run it, it will complete everything because it will not stop for anything else. So now let's get inside again, step into, let's see if it is getting the password field or not. Step over, it is the field. It will not draw anything, it is just trying to find the field. Now let's see, it will pass or fail. It will fail. Why? The field name, we did a mistake here. If you see the XPath, it is a spelling mistake, right? So we have a spelling mistake in our feature file here, right? So that's how, if you don't debug, you don't know why it will fail. Now if you go give a step over, it will fail. See where it went actually. It is in catch block. Now if you press a step over, now you know it went perfectly fine till one line and it failed. Okay, for example, you don't know this, right? It is telling you that no such element here. So that means you already know the error. Perfectly fine, printed clearly with red color. Now again, now we know, I figured out quickly, but in your case you might not figure out fast like me. So let's start debugging and let's see in the professional manner how will you do it. Run it. Okay, it didn't fail. I saw that it failed before. Then I started debugging where it failed. Now see, it failed. Now I'm looking closely with the UI, I mean the top and the console. So I have to go inside. Let's go inside. It didn't fail here. So you're safe till now. Then go a step. So now here I'm going to click on step over. Step over. It didn't fail in this line. That means it is safe. Move the breakpoint. Here, I mean remove everything from this list. Move the breakpoint here. Now let's go to next. Okay, it didn't fail this line. Move the breakpoint to here. I mean at least you can move the breakpoint till this line. Remove this line. Now this one, let's move the breakpoint here. It didn't fail in this line too, right? Divert.find element. In the field, it is working fine. It said that it find this. It has, okay, it is for user ID. Oh, okay, so now here is another thing. You see that for user ID, it is working perfectly fine. Now for a step over, if you go, you will end up coming here. So we need to stop when it is password field, right? So we can use conditional breakpoint here, right? You can put breakpoint properties and you can put condition and everything, but for now I don't need it because I know there is only one step. So I'm just giving it a run. So that's how conditional breakpoint is useful. Once the field name is password, then only it will stop, otherwise it will not stop. Now I know it will be quick. So now it has been started executing this field. Again it came here, field name, password, field name, this one. Now I know it is not failed till this point. Now let's see, let's step over again. It is taking time, it is taking time, it is taking time. That means it is gonna fail here. If it doesn't come to this line and goes to catch block, that means it is the culprit line. Okay, yes, it went to the catch block. We found the culprit line. Now it is easier for us to debug what happened here. Then once you try to debug, you see the XPath has been printed. Something happened in this XPath. We can understand from here, and from here we can see the XPath has a password mistake. I mean spelling mistake. So let's clear that up. Copy password. Again, let's debug professionally from the same place. So we are not moving the breakpoint anywhere. I know it failed here. I corrected now. Now I want to make sure it is not failing in the same point. Run as, I mean, debug it. Now run. It is stopped here for the first time, but should I go for that? Just check the field name here. It is user ID. I'm not waiting for user ID. Click on this run. Now field name, this is password. I was waiting for this one, right? So now let's see if after a step over, if it passes. Perfectly, it passed. It didn't go to catch block. It worked fine now. Now let's go and step over and check other things are working fine or not. So this one, click and draw. So this one is also checking the field. It is clicking and drawing. It clicked and draw here, if you see. Okay, red color in password field. So it clicked. So move the breakpoint again here, remove the old one. Going to the next block, save, send keys. Now this is another method. It is also worked fine. Came to this line, move the breakpoint so that you don't have to do a step over again. So now it inserted the password. Now let's see what value it gets. Okay, getting the value. Now let's see. The actual value is password. Even it is encrypted, it collected the encrypted value perfectly fine. So returning it perfectly fine. So no issues, no failure. So we can move the breakpoint to the next field. It is working fine. Let's, actual value is password. Now again here we are comparing actual value versus field value. Field is filled up, passed. So this step is working perfectly fine for both of these thing. Now we need to implement these two, right? So now we can give a stop here. Well, now important part. I was thinking of skipping the conditional format, conditional breakpoint, but it is a very good real life example that you want to see or debug for any specific case, like the one we are trying to see for password. So for example, you are testing registration, you are testing a different you are testing a different form where there are 100 fields. So you cannot always stop, check it by hover over, check the value, then again run. So that will also consume some time. Instead of doing that, I know I will wait for only this password field, right? So if you see something like that, you can use conditional format. So here field name is password. So let's put a breakpoint here. I know I don't want to use for user ID. I want to wait for password when the field name is password. So copy the variable name for sure. So right click on it, breakpoint properties. Here is conditional. Now here it will be always opposite, like field name dot equals value we used to put always, but here in this Eclipse it will be on the way of opposite. So password, the way like sorry, not this one, Windows V password. Now dot equals, okay, it is just a method, similar method like Java, it will come automatically. If I ELD control space field name, the variable will come. Okay, so it will stop if you do that on the opposite way, right? So we are now changing the variable. So Now, if you run in debug mode, see, watch closely. I'm running in debug mode now. From the very first, see the UI, and I will show you when it stops me. It is executing everything, it is using filling up the user ID, and it didn't stop there when it was filling up this all this. But if you look at the field name, password, it exactly stopped me where I told it to stop me. Then you can go and debug, save tons of time. So this conditional debugging is very, very important. So perfect, we already fixed these issues. You can go one by one and check. Now let's go for this field. This is just clicking on login button. Once you click on login button, you have a proper expected result. Let me create it faster. So this is the method, clicking on button. So login, we are putting here, it should be button name. Okay. Okay. Again, we have to identify the element in the home page. So it is a simple button. There is no change of XPath. It should not be dynamic. So I will store it in the find by. So I was writing XPath. I can see that it is, so first of all, hover over on the login. Now you can see that it is value is login. Copy that login. It starts with input field at the rate value and login. So it is here. Now you can see login and reset, almost same types of thing. Two variables can be changed. So you can use it as a dynamic XPath too if you need. But now I don't need. I just need a straightforward XPath to make it quick. So let's copy this. I'm going to the class. So I already copy pasted here, and then it will be login. Okay, save it. So login button is stored. Oh, my bad. Okay. Now here, as it is just login button, so I'm just clicking. I'm just creating a method. Okay. So outside this, public void click on login. Okay, so here the logger, I'm just copy pasting it. So logger clicking on login button. You must need to put log on every line before every action actually. So click and drop. Definitely we are not going to use anything else. Click and drop login. That's it. And what was the expected result? Now it is a crucial point that I wanted to show you guys. Let's find the point. So after clicking on login, right? No, not that one. After clicking on login, it should lead to an error message, user is not valid. So kind of an alert that will show user is not valid. User is not valid, that is a requirement. It always has, it must need to show the exact thing there. And you know what, we are not using this as a string. So instead of a string, you can put it as directly login because it's just a button. If you want to click multiple button, you can do that. Let's remove it from here. Okay, let's make it simple. Okay, so now let's go to the home page again. So how we are going to verify that it is opening the alert or not? Now we know after, now look closely, we know that after clicking on the element, for example, you are doing things and clicking on login, the alert is not coming immediately. It is waiting for very nanoseconds. So you have to wait for alert. Then you have to grab the text from the alert. So that's a big process too, to make sure that alert contains the text that is written in the expected result here, right? So user is not valid. That is the string that must be there in the alert. So let's do it. So expected. So first of all, let's write the expected. Okay, let's get the Let's write the expected result here at the top. String expected. Okay, let's write it with the flow. Not write. Let's not write here. So after that, we are going to wait for the alert. So we already have a method for wait for alert. If you need to wait for alert, but here we are not just wait. We have this method, right? So, but here we are not just going to wait. We are going to grab the text. So we have a method called get alert text, and if you go there, you will see it will wait for the alert here. It will call this method, and this method is already returning the alert after waiting, right? And then it will come back, it will get the text from here, it will print it saying that alert text captured, it will return the alert text, so it is returning a string. So here we are, it will be a string, I mean the text. So I can get it, I can store it like a string actual alert text, right? So that one, and the expected one is string expected alert text is clicking on login. Okay, well, one thing, so this is action method. Click on login means it can be straightforward clicking, so you will always not get the alert. Sometimes you, if the credential is invalid, then you will get the alert, but it is valid, you are not going to get the alert. So first of all, you need to see if any alert is there or not. If there is any alert after waiting few seconds, then only, I mean, you can create like wait for 5 seconds, then only it will go to the next step, or you can directly straightforward create it like click on login with invalid credentials. I can easily create the if else, but it will be complicated. I mean, you might get it complicated. You can create it with AI though. Just tell it that create a method that will check if alert is coming or not after waiting 5 minutes. It will create the method. You can learn from there. But here, let's see. Let's make it uh, clear, transparent, invalid credentials, right? Click on login with invalid credentials. Okay, now we are going to get the alert, and the expected alert text is what was user not valid, right? This one. Okay, so definitely we know that if we click on with this invalid credentials, it is going to return a string. I mean, it should return this string, uh, the actual alert, right? So we can get, I mean, we can write the expected alert here, string expected alert, clicking on the login button here. Okay, then, or we can at first call this method, right? Click on invalid credentials. So that is again coming from home page, hmpage homepage dot, click on this method here. So it will go here or execute this thing, get the actual alert text, and then return actual alert text. Again, I didn't use try catch block here by mistake, so I definitely need to use try catch block, otherwise that will cause a problem to my test. So try this one, and then catch. Okay, here I didn't put anything. Catch. Again, I need that beautiful red color text over here. Needs to print it. If it doesn't find anything, return this one or return null. NULL. We can return null. I think null should be more appropriate here too. Null. Okay, so it is now more appropriate. We are returning this actual text with this value, as this value here, sorry. So now let's find it out. So this is expected, and this one is going to return the actual, right? So string actual text. Okay. So now compare soft assert coming from common methods, definitely dot soft assert equals actual. So in the equals, what is the thing? Actual, expected, actual text, expected alert text. So you can say actual alert text, expected alert text. Actually, when we were building, we should have debugged it, but I did it quickly to save some time for you guys. Now let's use breakpoint. Let's run this. Okay, here when you are adding breakpoint, remove all the old breakpoints. So line number 47, I created this one. This is old. Remove it. I don't want to make it slow. I want to work faster. So click on the breakpoint. I mean debugger. Now let it run. So now it has stopped here. Now we know we are calling this method. I want to make sure that everything is working fine. So step into, it came here. That means there is no issues in this line. Link is perfect. Go to a step over. It is also working fine. Now it will click and drop in the login. Step over. Now let's see. Yes, it failed here, right? In this line. So there is issue in this line. Okay. We will make sure that what is the issue, we will confirm it. So the failure is like, if you go to this thing, element is null. How the element is null? Let's see. It has the X path. Okay, now let's find it out. Okay, I forgot to mention one thing. So that is like, whenever in test engine we learned, whenever we create a page object model, we create a page factory constructor to initiate that page object model. So we are calling it in the common method. That is perfectly fine, but we cannot initiate this find by. I mean, this class will not run before you call this method. It has to run before you call this method. So here, if you look, we are calling this login with invalid credentials, and immediately it is trying to execute this login. But we never called the top of this find bys. So actually we never assigned this value. Java runs top to bottom, but it is running top to bottom in this class, and when it was running top to bottom, it is just seeing the call, it went to that call, but it never assigned this value, right? So for that we need to initiate the page factory constructor. So how to do that? So just below log, you can create this public home page. I mean, same page name. Okay. You can copy that with log and pin it in your class too. I mean, in your pin clipboard too, so that you can use that everywhere. So now here you don't need to do I mean pass driver or anything, because we already have driver in this class. So page factory dot init elements, right? Initialize elements. Init elements, you can put here actual driver from this class, and here we can put this, right? Correct. So this class will use this driver. So I am copying this logger, Windows V, pinning it for any other class, and removing the old logger. Clear all. Removing the old logger, because this one we definitely put when we need when we create a page object model, right? Or any pages. So this page factory constructor will be required to initiate or to assign the value to these variables. So now if you do the execution, you can see that we will go to the failed point again, passing this one, and now it is here in the login button. Now clicking on a step over, then Now if you hover over, you can see the value is assigned. Actually it is not null anymore, right? So you can see element is visible. Okay, now it already clicked on that, so it is now we are getting the text. We got the text. You see user is not valid. It got the text from the alert. Okay, now clicking on next, now it is here. Okay, click on step over. User is not test. Now expected test is this, actual text is this. We are going to comparing. Okay, user is not valid. Oh, okay, sorry. I mean here we have to put a pass message, right? So here we have to write alert generated and text is as expected. Okay, done. Our assertion is done. Now we can stop it here. And then the last thing we can now automate this one. Click on OK button. That is very simple. Another method we can create here. Now for the OK button is just switching to the alert and click on OK. So okay, if you go to our common method, you will see this accept alert method. So I don't need to create any page object model for this. I mean any action method for this. It will accept the alert. But yeah, if you want to create a one for specifically for login button, you can do that. But for now, I don't want to do it. Just say I'm gonna call that method accept alert, right? So accept alert. So once you accept alert, what happens? So let's see. We put things like this, login, and once we accept alert, it will come back to home page, and that is also as expected result in our test case, right? So expected result, sorry, yeah, expected result in our application will login, application will return login home page. Okay, so home page title again. So we already have a method to verify user is on home page, right? Verify home page title. We can call this directly and it is returning boolean. So boolean is user on home page is equal to, you can call this method home page, again home page pom dot verify home page title, correct? So it's gonna compare and do everything and will let me know. So that's the benefit of page object model. You are not creating anything newly. Just by one click, you gave that effort earlier. Just by one click, you are completing it. So now soft assert true, soft assert dot soft assert true. Okay, if user in home page, I mean if it is true, alert accepted and user came back to home page. And here I can see alert, I can write alert not accepted. Okay, whatever you want you can give. Now I know I have to debug it, but for the time constraint I'm just running. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's run it, run the full test and let's see if it is working. I need, actually we should debug, but now I'm not debugging for saving some time. So let's see now, look at the UI how it works, and we are going to check the final result. Okay, it failed, right? Because we didn't accept, no alert present. Okay, so let's find it out. Okay, now if you put a debug pointer here, and let's put a debug pointer at the end of this one. So remove all the debug pointer, all to debug pointer to find the issue. So we are going to put, we know that what it worked perfectly fine. I'm going to put a debug pointer here at the beginning of here. Between these two, only a step, like after a step hook is running while we are just taking a screenshot and report. Let's see where it breaks and let's compare with the UI. So now I'm going to open the UI somewhere here, and we will see a side by side. We will do a side by side test. Let me put it here and let me put that here. Look at the console now. So still when it is returning, alert is open. I'm giving a step over, it is coming to here, alert is open again. That means still now till this part there is no issues, removing the old breakpoint. That's how you debug, right? So then go to the next step. This is also fine. Next step, this is also fine. Moving the breakpoint, remove old one, alert is still open. So that means it is not the issue. Now a step run and go to the next step. Okay, it is closed. That means before coming here something is happening in between. Now let's check the console. Capturing screenshot here, error capturing screenshot. So for our report, when it was trying to capture the screenshot, it couldn't take the screenshot because alert was open. So when alert was open, it was not able to take the screenshot simply. So now we can see that's a issue for this screenshot method in the hooks class. So we cannot usually do anything here. We can handle it. So for example, now no alert found, right? So we can handle it with a try catch block, but we don't need to use try catch block. It's totally fine if we click on next and it is throwing the catch block, right? So it is not gonna fail though. So let's see. Oh, okay, it is failing actually. It is failing because we are not handling it um, with anything. So the steps will fail. So but now we figured out the issue, from where the issue is coming from. So now from our perspective, what should we do, right? So let's actually it got hidden. Let's open this. So let me wrap it in. It is actually wrapped in try catch. Okay. Okay, the failure is taking place in a different method. No such alert. Okay, now this method has this issue. So now I am correcting it. So it is throwing exception. Throw means you are stopping. Throw means you are stopping the execution. It is not giving you any assertion result. So so how we can remove correct it? We have the pinned catch block. So let me return this. Okay, exception E. Okay, and the previous exception was no present alert present exception, right? You can, okay, our one is going to handle any exception. Okay, just saving it. But so if there is no alert, it will tell me no alert, but I don't want it to fail because it is coming back to home page. So let me run it now. I'm running it directly. Let's see if that part handles it. So I will definitely update these common methods so that it is copy paste friendly. You should not get this error. Okay, now it is clicking on, it is getting the alert. Now yeah, it closed the alert. Yes, perfectly fine. So it handled it, right? So browser name, this one, no such alert. Simple, no other extra error, but it is passed because it came back to the home page and handled the alert. So now if you check the final result here into the result page, um, mm, 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 mm. Okay, so results, right? So results, now right click on and refresh. Okay, open this one. This is the result because it is on December 25, 15, not 15. It is okay, 23. This one I think. Let me open and check. So open with web browser. So test, yes, 23, yes, that one. So you can see everything is given. It couldn't take alerts screenshot. So this one, clicking on login button. So actually it is coming back to home page. So first of all, this one, validate user is on home page, then validate user ID and user ID field. It took and kept and take a screenshot. Password and password field, it did it. Okay. Then it clicked on login and finally it validated that the alert is open, but it when it clicked login, the screenshot was captured right after in the middle of alert is opening, so it couldn't take alert and it failed here, right? So it came back to the home page and it took that alert. So I think, yeah. Oh, okay. So for the login button, clicking on login button, it was not able to take any screenshot because alert opened. And for the clicking on alert, it came back to the home page and it took the screenshot. So I think we are good. No failure is there. So that's how we automate things. Now, guys, you have completed this one. Now here is a turn. We supposed to pass different ID password here, right? So from here, we are going to use the scenario outline. So now you learned it. You can use the ID password here. Now you see you have same fields. Every step is exactly same. Expected result is exactly same. Everything will throw the pop-up. Everything will do the same thing. Just the username and password will be changed for the same step. So if I let me rename the test cases, test case C5, test case 6 and test case 7 for all of them, right? For all of them, the everything will be same, only two item variable value changes. It doesn't matter how many variable, if even if it is 10 variable, we can easily change it. So with the same test case, same step, we can handle all the test cases. Let me write the tag. Okay, so test case 5, test case 6 and test case 7. But how will we handle it? That's what we are going to learn. So that's what we are going to learn in the next phase. So make sure you note in the next video you are going to learn it. Make sure you do the homework properly. Yeah, you can follow this. You can convert these test cases to that part, right? To this, what do you call? You can make more copy of this. You can convert your test cases to this. Then we can merge them together in the next video. We will do it. Okay then, thanks. Make sure you complete all the assignments before we move forward to the next phase.